you all. And then let's go back to the so-called discrete symmetries. And in discrete symmetries, we are talking about time reversal. Yes, time reversal symmetry, more correctly called as the symmetry under the reversal of motion. The simplest example in classical consideration is you pick up your mobile phone and you have several video clips on your mobile, run it as usual. This is the so-called forward running movie. Now you have the option, and if you like, you can run your film backwards in time. Okay, so that is the backward running film in time. So this is reversal under motion. Okay. So obviously it looks as if the coordinate would not change under this transformation. However, the time would change to -t. T would go to -t. Of course, in theoretical physics, I would always demand this to be an exact symmetry of my theory. Okay. Irrespective of whether the overall universe would respect it or not, the overall universe appears to be time asymmetric. Okay, and this is because of the second law of thermodynamics. Correct? According to the second law of thermodynamics, the entropy of an isolated system always keeps increasing. Okay, so it's one way flow of entropy. It keeps increasing. So I also personally do not know if I would construct a time symmetric universe, and if I would run the universe backwards in time, would it respect the symmetry perfectly or not? Because I don't know how would I decrease the entropy. Okay, so that's the situation, and of course in the literature is full of several stories running forward in time and running backwards in time. Okay, and these paths, which are known by the name of wormholes. Wormholes are some two regions of space-time which connect different domains of space and time. My PhD student, Mr. Vivek Kaman, who is sitting here with his beautiful camera, he is working exactly on this wormholes theory. But we work within rigorous mathematical framework, so we use quantum field theory and we apply it to the gravity theory. And we do not make violations in our mathematics. Okay, we demand everything rigorously to be correct. Okay, so what happens? It's like a periscope. You see, you put one end of your periscope under the sea, maybe in a submarine or somewhere, and you put the other end of the periscope above the surface of water, and you can see the bird outside water. Okay, sitting there. We all have played with these things during our schooling. Correct? I even constructed them with my own hands when I was in 9th, 10th standard. So one can similarly visualize some such situation which would connect, and the younger people are more smart. If they cannot derive it rigorously theoretically, or if they cannot prove something experimentally, they can make computer simulations and they can construct. So I know somebody in Germany, in the University of Tübingen, constructed a wormhole connecting the university place, they call it University Plaza of this Tübingen University, and other end of the wormhole opens in the north of France, facing the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. So you see, in the stories, just now I am watching this CRT Ram, and I found that the wife of Lecture-1, she goes to sleep for 14 years, and when these guys are back, she again wakes up. And she discovers that, oh, these guys are here, then again. So even though it may be completely hypothetical, okay, fiction, nevertheless, it tells you a hypothetical example of a forward travel in time. Okay? In fact, forward travel in time has been experimentally verified in these slides of the lecture-1. Okay? And the backward travel in time has not yet been verified. However, the general theory of relativity and the field theory approve it. They do not disagree with it. So in principle, you could have it. Okay? So it's possible to construct this. You accelerate one end of this wormhole as compared to the other end at relativistic speeds, and then it's possible that when you enter, you measure time at one end, when you come out, usually you would expect that the time has gone forward in direction, which is usually the case. But in principle here, you can construct models where you enter here at some time t1, and you come out at some time t2, and this time t2 is prior to the time t1. Okay? So you can go back to the times when you would not walk. Okay? So these are some very well-known ideas. And there is a very famous book by H.G. Wells more than 100 years ago, 1895, H.G. Wells, Time Machine. Okay? So you know this, that's very good. Okay. So now we come back to the time symmetry. T going to minus. What we have seen in our last lecture, I summarize briefly that if you write down this Schrodinger equation and if you look for a solution, psi, the function of x and t, respect the equation, Schrodinger equation. If you change t to minus t in the wave function, it no longer is a valid solution of the Schrodinger equation. However, if you take two operations at the same time, you take complex conjugate of the wave function and you change t to minus t, both at the same time, then this again is an accepted solution of the same Schrodinger equation. So, by this you can infer that, oh, perhaps time reversal symmetry has something to do with the complex conjugation. And you see, I have taught you the so-called anti-linear operators. So an anti-linear operator, let me denote it by theta, as I did last time. If it acts on a state given by some constant c into an arbitrary state psi, then when this theta goes through, it changes c to c star. So the multiplication coefficient becomes complex. Okay? You can call it by another name called complex conjugation operation. However, this is an anti-linear operator. Okay? I have given you the definitions. And so, we have then we can assign within quantum mechanics without really being bothered about whether this would be a perfect symmetry of the universe or not. I can always demand, okay, I consider this theory, I define my symmetry operation in a particular fashion, and I demand that my theory remains invariant under this. This I can do. And then see the consequences happen. Okay? Alright? Is this fine? Okay, good. So, I define two things. One thing is so in state alpha, under the operation theta goes to alpha delta, and this is equal to theta alpha, then theta under the same operation will go to theta delta equal to theta beta. Then I write down two conditions. Beta delta A and so this last condition on its own, this condition just on its own is known as the anti-linearity condition. Okay. So any operator that obeys this equation is an anti-linear operator. So according to this, theta is an anti-linear operator. And so when it goes through C1, it changes into C1 star. Alright, complex conjugate of C1. Good. Also, the inner product of the two states under the time reversal. Okay. So this is, if you like, the inner product of the two states, beta alpha under the time reversal operation goes to beta delta alpha delta, and this is beta alpha star. So it makes produces the complex conjugate of this object. Okay. Then these two conditions put together, A and B, they constitute one particular definition, which is called as anti-unitarity. Any operator that obeys this as well as this would be anti-unitary. Alright? Okay, so that's fine. Under this equation, I can easily imagine that my operator theta could be written as U into K, where U is some unitary operator and K is some complex conjugation operator. Alright? So U into K is theta, which would obey the anti-unitarity, anti-linearity and everything. Now I would not prove this once again. I have done it last time already. So you can prove this. However, if you like, I could give details. So alpha under theta goes to alpha theta, and this is, I put summation over A prime, and what is this? In the first place, let me write alpha would be the summation over A prime, and this would be A prime alpha. However, now I apply this operation. So what do I get? This should change my this object into A1 prime alpha star, and then this operator U into K theta goes inside and produce this A prime. Alright? Okay? So, and this then again gives me A prime, because this A prime is just a number, it is a basis vector. A prime is just a basis vector of the type 1 0 0 0 or 0 1 0 0, etc. etc. Okay? You know the basis vector. Alright? So, you can also write this is alpha A prime, or let me write U A prime. Okay? U A prime, because this K has done its job, it has changed into this complex conjugate. Alright? I can write similar thing for beta, and my beta theta would be summation over A prime, beta A prime, U A prime. I could also write it as summation over A double prime, beta A double prime U, A double prime, and then I could take this product beta delta alpha delta, then this would be A double prime, A prime, A double prime, beta prime, A double prime, U dagger, then U prime, U prime, A prime, alpha, A prime. Now you will see U dagger is 1 at unit operator, and this is A double prime, A prime. So this whole thing gives me economic delta of A prime, A double prime. Is that correct? So this gives me, and this, if I operate this economic delta on this, and I take the summation, then I'm left with A prime, and I would have beta, and I would have alpha, and A prime. Is that okay? This is the economic delta A prime. I make a summation over A double prime, and this changes to A prime. Is this okay? Alright? Alright? Yes. Okay. So I write it again. Sigma over A prime, alpha, A prime, beta. Now this is a closure property, and this is there is just alpha, beta. Or if I like, I can write it as beta alpha star. Is this okay? So we have proved this. We have proved this unitarity condition, this anti-linearity condition we are already making use of. So everything seems to be consistent. So if you now permit me, I would like to erase some of these things from here. Would I do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So now let us look at some more fundamental properties of this operation. One of the simplest things that seems to me is if this operation is, so to say, even if my, let me first put you beta inverse. If this is plus minus A is some arbitrary operator. Okay? A is some arbitrary operator, then theta is the inverse, is plus minus A. If it is plus, I say it is even. If it is minus, I say it's odd under time reversal. So you can easily see that X should be plus X even, because there is no time here. However, if I have theta, theta inverse, I should have minus 3. Okay, if you like to go better, something in your mind. Okay, so the vector P will go to minus 3, because P is the rate of change of the coordinate. P is dx by dt. Okay. So there is one time appearing linearly. Okay, doesn't matter if it is a numerator or denominator. So here it is in the denominator, never mind. dt will go to minus P, or del over del T will go to minus del over del T. So P will go to minus, and therefore the momentum has to be odd under the band reversal symmetry. Alright, now let me write down a beautiful equation which we will try to understand. If you like, I can remove this too. Should I erase this also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let me write down the equation. Okay, let me start from here. It might become longer. Let me start from here. So, I apply. This is my time evolution operator. And how do you define it? T0 and T0 plus Dt, or T0 plus delta T, okay, and this is applied to a state theta alpha. Then how much should it be? This should be 1 minus the initial time K0 I have taken to be 0. If you like, somewhere you can write T0 equal to 0, comma T0. Is this okay? So initial time I am taking as T0 equals to 0. Okay, so that there is no T minus T0 here. Alright? Otherwise I would have a T minus T0 here. Is that correct? Okay. So this and time. So this is my one state, theta alpha. This is obviously the time reverse state. Okay? So then this is my initial state alpha at the initial point of time. And then this is the time reverse state, this is the time reverse state. If I apply this operation U, what will it do? It will evolve the state to time T0 plus Dt. Okay? It will evolve this state to T0 plus Dt, and this is what this operator would do. Okay? It's the same operator. Alright? Operating on this state. Now, this I would expect, let me write it here, this as theta into 1 minus iota s by s cross times minus dt, and then operating on alpha. This you have to think in your mind the physical situation, what is happening. Okay, so this is the state alpha, which is given at initial time T0 equal to 0. Okay, and then I evolve it by this amount of time, initial state. So to say 200% time. Okay, and then you have the time reversal. So you should have it just the same as this one. Okay, these two, left hand side and right hand side, must be identically the same. Okay, there is no further explicit proof for this. You only have to visualize the situation. Okay, you have this state, in the time reversal state, you evolve it by this time. Okay, so if you like, I can write it delta t. Now it's even better. Is this okay? So you evolve this state by an amount delta t. You evolve this state to this time, and then this should be the same. Here you do the other way around. You first take it at time equal to 0. You develop it backwards in time, and then you put the time reversal. So these two things together would simply mean that theta equal to theta s. Is this okay? Just check it. And minimizing the mathematical steps so that you can see more. Okay? Alright? So, then I have theta x equal x theta is theta x, or I can bring it theta and n from theta to 0. And what will it mean? That this is a perfect symmetry of the theorem. Or that this is a symmetry operation of the theorem. If an operator commutes with the Hamiltonian of the theory, then this is the constant of motion of the theory. Right now you would know it already also in classical mechanics, also in quantum mechanics. Here it's not commutator, but it's cross of bracket. So if the cross of bracket of the level A gives you 0 with that of the Hamiltonian. Okay? So I have derived those equations here, the classical equation for the development of the classical dynamical variable. Okay? Alright? Yes? Yes, okay. So, and here also, the same anything which is the constant of motion of the theory must commute with the Hamiltonian of the theory. If it's an operator. If it's an operator, you demand its commutator to vanish. If it's a classical dynamical variable, you demand its cross and bracket to vanish. Alright? And now you also know the equivalence of the two approaches. Alright? Okay, so that's fine. One more remark, namely that if I have very important, if I have an expression of the type theta alpha, then its correct interpretation is theta times theta alpha and not. Do you get this point? Please look at this. Please look at this expression. What I am saying is this needs to be interpreted always, all the time, just as this graph is this graph beta multiplied by theta alpha. Okay? And never the state graph beta theta times alpha. This is an exceptional case. Exceptional case in Dirac. In the Dirac and Cat formalism, this is an exception. Okay? And therefore I have pointed it out to you. And one can very easily understand it. Why it is an exception? Why it doesn't record all the time? Because Dirac's formalism was primarily investigated or was primarily meant for dealing with the linear order and not to deal with the anti-linear order. And this guy is an anti-linear order, theta, the so-called time reversal operation. This is an anti-linear order. Alright? So that is the point. Now I think it is clear, but as an exception, one should remember that it always is and never is. Alright? Okay, very good. So, right now, somebody wants to speak. Yes. NB. This is an Italian word. NB means nota bendi. Nota bendi. This is an Italian word. But universally accepted. Okay? It's very much in use everywhere in your standard textbook. This means node or important node. Okay? NP means node abandoned. Important node. Bending or bending? Bending. Node abandoned. Look into a dictionary, or you all of you guys who look around with your mobile phones with internet, don't you? Why don't you look at it? Use it, just write it there. Node abandoned or NP and see what it gives you. Okay? Now nobody agrees with me. You agree? You have this mobile phones with internet all the time? Yes? So after my class, check it. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You should do it for increasing your vocabulary, for your general knowledge. Okay? You don't know all the terms they use in the U campus. Okay? Dictionary apps are terms, but you don't know them how to use them. These are academic vocabulary. Okay? Right learning. Alright, so if you like, I can remove this right hand side. I wish to remove this from the right hand side. Good, right? Okay, good, great. So, now, I still want to include here. So, this simply tells us that the coordinate x is even under time reversal, whereas the momentum p is odd under time reversal. Symmetry. So, what happens to your fundamental commutative relation? Perhaps I told it rather hurriedly last time. So, you could do it if you go properly this time. So, what you do is your xi pj, that's your concentration, and you apply it to some arbitrary size, and you would expect it to be either across delta ij, and you have your arbitrary size. Is that correct? Okay, now what you do is you apply theta. So theta Fij sin theta across delta ij sine, and now I want to add theta equals theta. It is a unit operator. Theta equals theta. It is a unit operator. Alright. So this is fine. And then theta, this should be equal to xi minus pj, and this is in fact. So theta sine, and this now I want to take theta 2. So I have minus iota across delta ij. Is this alright? So, this is what I get. Alright? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Great. So, what do you need for out of this? What do you need for out of this? This is the same state. This is the same state here. So, I have xi pj. Now I take minus sign out on both the sides, and I am left with iota s for delta ij. So you see, with this formalism that I have just now given to you for my time reversal symmetry, I have not highlighted anything anyway. You agree with that or not? Good. You agree with that? My statement is, with my formalism of time reversal symmetry, I have not highlighted any physics anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Yes? Okay. Very few people seem to agree. Or everybody agrees? Everybody agrees. That's good. That's good. So I'm not doing any blunders here. Okay. All right. All right. Well, the angular momentum is also odd. Okay. Under tan reversal. Okay. So now let's talk about the wave functions. Okay. Let's talk about the wave functions. So that's not too difficult. So what do we do for the wave functions? So my alpha wave functions under wave functions under so we consider this is wave alpha and this is dqs prime. Should I create space here? If you like, I can create space and then write. Then I am little more later in spreading. Right? Should I remove this? Yes? Okay, good. I could even remove this now because we want to look for the wave function. Under theta. What happens to my wave functions under theta? Very good. So write down alpha. This is being prime s prime alpha and then theta alpha would be prime and this would be now I want to take it through. So what will happen? This guy will change to this would not change, but this would change to complex. Correct? So the expansion coefficient, whether it's wave function or other expansion coefficient, even the wave function is expansion coefficient. So this guy changes to complex conjugate and so this can occur that side of sine under theta goes to sine star prime of prime t under this goes to star of prime and minus. And you might recollect that this was one of our very first conjectures in this direction. This was one of our very first conjectures. Then we looked at the solid equation, we realized, oh, the complex conjugate accompanied with the time reversal would be solution of the solid equation, would be one of the solutions of the solid equation. Alright? Okay? Alright? Yes, good, very good. So how do you explain these things in terms of you have spherical harmony. Please note down. Second at the second row, you talk too much. That's very bad. I have pointed it out to you several times even in the past. If you don't do it, please. So if I have some spherical harmonics by an n beta bar, then under the time reversal, similarly this would go to binary star beta pi. You know this is spherical harmonic, and this would then be equal to -1 raised to the power n by m minus n beta pi. If you like to write it in terms of the state vector, so how do you write n comma n, and under this symmetry, or I have already applied it here, so I can leave it like that. Okay, this would then be -1 raised to the power n minus. Okay, so this is how you will play around with these things little more during the last 1 month of your course with Professor Formalism Singh, who will teach you the angular momentum in quantum mechanics. Okay, I should stop somewhere up to the there. Okay, so is this all right? So you know how spherical harmonics are a part of. You see, your wave function could be a function of x, y, z, and t, or it could be a function of r, theta, phi, and t. Okay, so you could need help of the spherical harmonics in order to write down your wave function. Okay, in the r, theta, phi, and t. Okay, and this is how it will go under the so-called time reversal symmetry. With that, I think I am almost through for the day. If you have any questions, you may ask me. In fact, you see, on such a topic, in principle, one can go on, and one can study many more things. But I also keep in mind that you are a student, and not only you hear the things like a seminar, but you are also supposed to be able to reproduce them in your examination, and the somewhat related deviations from that. Okay? If not too major deviations, at least some minor deviations from what we do. Okay? So, if you like, I will stop for the day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all very, very much. Could I know could you give me some impression, let us just on the, let us say, time reversal operation. Do you really understand something that I teach you? Or it's still like some Arabic or Farsi? Or do you understand something? Oh, that's good. That's good. So if you understand it, otherwise I could be wasting my life, right? So I hope I am not wasting my life. I am trying to communicate some meaningful things to you. You see, to me, it's a real difficult subject. Okay, doesn't matter how many times you have read it, how many times you have done it. Some of my papers, some of my pages in my lecture notes are very recent. I told that this morning or tomorrow or yesterday or few days ago, and some of my pages are older than you guys. Okay, so older than 22 years. Okay, some of them. So the validity remains time immemorial. They remain valid. Okay, so as long as you do not violate the fundamental. There are used to give a set of 3 lectures. It was very famous. You can find it in the internet. Famous 3 lectures of Mr. Paul Morris Dirac. And once an audience asked him, Professor Dirac, you have given this set of 3 lectures several times, and there is hardly any deviation or change in your let us person with any of your earlier lectures, and Mr. Virat replied, he was a very, very modest person. He replied, look, gentlemen, I made it perfectly well in the very first class. So he didn't need to modify it. Okay. So he was perfect in his very first attempt, so he didn't have to modify the things again and again and again. So this was very famous set of 3 lectures by Mr. Paul Morris Dirac. How did I arrive at the Dirac equation? That's the title. How did I arrive at the Dirac equation? And it's always the same. Okay. So wish you all the best. Thank you all very, very much. Looking forward to see